From the Bricktown Brewery restaurant in South Peoria in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Welcome into Oklahoma Sportscene on a cold winter night. I'm Chris Lake along with Gil Crowder. Coach, good night to be inside.
Boy, I wish we had a fireplace here. We could throw another log on the fire and get us a Bud Light. But
we got some good entertainment for you. The Rick Couri, longtime radio personality with KRMG, also involved with Union High School football, University of Tulsa football. He does so much for this community as well.
Rick has been, for over 30 years, he's been involved with the Tulsa community, and some of his philanthropy that he's done with raising money for Operation Aware and those things, his impact has been outstanding, and he continues to do that.
You got one of your TPS high school football coaches you're awful proud of?
Well, we got Tony Daniels here, the head football coach and director of athletics at Edison High School, who reeled off 9 wins in a row and is hosting a first-round playoff game with the Pryor Tigers.
First district time in how many years?
It's just 99.
Wow, fantastic. Well, congratulations, Coach Daniels. Ryan Bush, the ORU men's soccer coach, is going to be here to talk about their championship season. Matilda Mossman just got underway with their TU women's basketball program for this year. We'll also be in, of course, our Remington race report. We'll start, though, with the hot topics, the round table, college football week 11. This is also the second. We'll put up the poll for you of the second college football playoff rankings that came out on Tuesday night. And to give you an idea of that, how it changed or moved around. Of course, we had 2 in the top 4. Penn State and Alabama both lost. That certainly helps OU.
Well, you would think it would help Oklahoma, but the problem, the way Oklahoma struggled, against Iowa State, which is not ranked in the top 10 or the top 15 or the top 20, it's going to be tough, I think, at this point. They'll hang around 9 or 10, and if they don't beat Baylor this weekend, they can forget about it, and Baylor's awful good, I'm going to tell you.
Sooners had a real struggle, 42-41, went in their fourth quarter with a 21-point lead. Quite a game, and we have Thomas Walkingstick went to the game to cover it for us. And afterwards, we got some comments from Coach Lincoln Riley.
Hurts, hits as he throws, takes a shot deep, looking for CD. He caught it! How did he catch that? Touchdown! Expanded motion left to right, CD Lamb. The keeper hurts up the middle, touchdown! 3rd and 4. Back to pass. Blitz is on. Lob end zone for Bridges. It is caught! Bottom of the formation. Blitz on. Quick throw out. CD caught it open. 45 to midfield. 50. It's a race. 45. Cuts midfield with a 40. Goes far side, jumps over a guy, 35 to the 30, quit it, 20, 15, 10, 5, you gotta be kidding me. Touchdown. CD Lamb may have just entered the Heisman race. Two-yard line keeper hurts up the middle, pushing, churning, he's in, touchdown. Big hole left side 40, 35, watch out, big block down the sidelines at the 10, swims through and he's into the end zone. Two-point conversion try. Purdy back to pass. Looks left, under pressure. Throws late. It is incomplete. Got it. That's apropos. And you can unhitch the wagon.
Thrilled to get a win. Obviously, not real enthused that we, let the game get a lot closer than, we're going to feel like that we should have. But, like I told the guys in there, I mean, you you go back and you watch videos of championship teams after the fact, and they recap their seasons or what it was like, and a lot of times you have in your head that everything went perfect and everything went right and smooth and played great all the time, and most of the times you have a couple of very, very defining moments and tough games, tough situations you have to overcome. And, we did tonight. Give Iowa State credit. They made a nice run, certainly there at the end. A lot of things that we didn't do very good there at the end of the game, really on all three sides, and had to make a play in the end. And secondary made a monster play there, obviously, on the 2-point conversion. So proud of getting a win. And a lot of things that this team's got to continue to grow in and get better, and that's the case in November. That's, I think, been a key to our success in November over the past several years. Is you find a way to win these tough ones, you keep getting better, and you keep moving on, and that's what we're going to do.
Well, Lincoln Riley's hanging on to that November win streak, 18 in a row.
Well, I tell you what, I heard a figure today that Oklahoma was 194-0 when they had a 21-point lead.
Ooh.
That almost went down the drain.
I was telling Becky we were at the game Saturday night. I said, at the third quarter, I said, let's leave. She goes, why? I said, well, the football team obviously left after the third quarter, so golly, that was tough for them there. Oklahoma State had a week off. They got Kansas coming in the Norman on Saturday morning, Stillwater on Saturday morning, 11 o'clock, and Les Miles coming back, huh?
Les Miles, and I tell you, if you can determine what he says in the press conference, would you write that into us? Because
Exactly.
I'm not sure we can.
So they can take on the Kansas Jayhawks. Oklahoma State looking for their 7th win of the season here. And a much needed and reserve win for the TU football team and Coach Philip Montgomery.
Boy, I'm so happy with Coach Montgomery and their kicker and the football team. They worked so hard. They've been so close. There are 3 football games with Cincinnati, SMU, and Memphis that they could have beaten very easily.
Absolutely, yeah.
And would be bowl eligible right now. And, of course, now what they got to do, I think, as we talked earlier, they've got to win these next 2 football games, go into recruiting with a positive attitude and go get some players.
That 34-31 win over Central Florida, by the way, broke a 5-game losing streak. It was great to see the Golden Hurricane and the coaching staff all celebrating in the locker room after the game. Let's go! TU off this weekend. The final home game coming up on the 23rd. They'll host Houston. That game time just set at 6:30 p.m. on senior. I think like 17 seniors leaving for TU.
Fantastic that they have 17 to be in the program, and it'll be a great evening for football for TU.
Now, if somebody had told you Western Kentucky would beat the University of Arkansas 45-19, what would you say?
The coach is going to get fired.
And he was.
And he was.
Wow,
yeah.
Chad Morris fired as the Razorbacks now 2-8. 0-8, by the way. This is not an SEC game, but he is still 0-8 in the Southeastern Conference. And, Coach, they're talking about top candidates now for the Razorback job. Mike Norvell, the Memphis coach, Elijah Drinkwitz, which I wasn't very familiar with, but he's from Appalachian State, done a great job there.
Right.
Lane Kiffin, I don't know about
that. Won't happen.
Bill Clark, Alabama, Birmingham's names up there. This one I love. Mike Leach from Washington State. What do you think?
Mike Leach could be a suspect. Gus Malzahn,
right? Auburn coach,
could go back home to Arkansas.
Right.
I think would be a good.
Seth Luttrell, North Texas.
What they're going to have to do is they're going to have to get a name brand coach.
Yeah, absolutely.
That gets the alumni ready to go out and help them recruit and raise money.
Too great a program, too proud a fan base. The Arkansas Razorbacks, I know they've really suffered the last couple of years. And I'm surprised. I really thought Coach Morrison would be the guy there. Great offensive coach.
You know, we don't know how far down it was under the former coach.
Yeah, that's true.
Because I noticed a comment that he said today was, man, this thing is really tough. He said to be able to get where we need to be, and like he didn't have enough time. Well, 2 years is tough.
It is.
I mean, you get 2 recruiting classes, and if you're really smart, you're going to redshirt your first class if you can. So those kids are back the next year, but they've been in the program a year. And when you're fighting for your life, you can't redshirt them. You got to get them out there and play them.
And after 2 seasons and not winning a single conference game, he ends up with a $10 million buyout as Coach Chad Morrison. By the way, University of Arkansas is still paying Brett Bielema, their former coach, $11.9 million more over the next 2 years. Coach, what is this buyout?
Well, they're selling it. They're going to sue him. Because they say that he hasn't actively looked for a position comparable to what he had. Well, how in the world can you do that when you get fired? He can't go out and find another $5 million job.
And he's not where? He's
with the New England Patriots as a defensive line coach.
Yeah,
so he's making $375,000 a year. He'll probably get a Super Bowl ring and a bonus. So I mean, you know, but they've sued him for the $4.2 that they paid him, and they want to stop the contract right now.
Wow.
So.
What a mess. Oklahoma City Thunder, I tell you, these guys without the stars, these guys are playing well. They won over Golden State again, 114-108, lost a heartbreaker to Milwaukee in the final seconds. They played Tuesday night against Indiana, but they went into that game with a 4-6 record.
Chris, I think what we talked about 3 or 4 weeks ago, this bunch, Billy Donovan can coach.
They'll listen to him.
That other bunch, they wouldn't listen to him.
Yeah.
But this bunch want to be better. They're younger. And, you know, I keep hearing Traber and the boys in Oklahoma City talk about, well, this one's not going to be, Galilari's not going to be around, and Paul's not going to be around, and so on. They're going to trade down. You know, they get on a little win streak here. They may still be there when we get to March.
Got a challenge coming up. The next home game is Friday night in the Peak. Tough one to be against the Philadelphia 76ers in a tough time to play. Tulsa Oilers, they won their first road game this past week, 7-2 at Wichita. Next home games for the Oilers, Friday, November 15th against Rapid City, and Saturday, November 16th against Idaho. They dropped the puck both times there at 7:05. This, by the way, that game Saturday night, Coach, their last home game till November 20th after 4 straight road games.
Yeah.
Wow. Tough on that. Got a great lineup mentioned tonight here, and coming up with us next is Rick Couri, who wears so many hats and been so great to this city here for so many years, from KRMG, from Tulsa University, and from Union Football. Rick Couri, you're going to enjoy this interview straight ahead on Oklahoma Sports Scene.
Cheers. All right, y'all, how's everything tasting?
That is awesome.
I come bearing gifts of the liquid variety.
Bricktown Brewery. Come and get it.
Hey Mo, have you seen the MDX? I'm pretty sure it was in the showroom when I left yesterday.
No, sorry, Jen. I haven't seen it.
Are you positive you haven't seen it?
Hey Mo, I went ahead and pulled the MDX back up on the showroom for it. Oh, hey Jen.
Haven't seen it, huh?
At Rogers State University, we keep things personal.
It all starts here.
We make sure our graduates get the most out of their education.
RSU has campuses in Claremore, Bartlesville, and Pryor, with on-campus housing and a wide variety of programs to suit your needs.
It all starts here.
Rogers State University.
Finally, we have Rick Couri on Oklahoma Sports Scene. Not easy to get this man off the radio. 37 years at KRMG Radio. He's an absolute legend broadcasting here in Tulsa and, of course, Oklahoma. My gosh, how many years you guys with Rick Couri, huh?
Oh my God, Rick's been around forever and ever.
We go back to way
back.
Yeah, right.
And he's a TPS graduate, told me, right?
Tulsa Hail Ranger, but in spite of that, he's done well.
No, in spite of that, they're still there. I didn't so much graduate as I was asked to leave. But
Well, Rick, you have so many hats you wear, of course. University of Tulsa is on. Tulsa's their top analyst. Been doing Tulsa football now for, was it 32 seasons?
Years, yeah.
19 seasons, the voice of the Union Redskins, and 17 seasons he spends underwater.
That's right.
With Okie Scuba. So, my gosh, so many hats to wear. Do you have a favorite, Rick? Or?
No, you have to wear hats when you don't have any hair. I mean, as Gil knows,
We
this
know.
time of year,
Yeah, right.
You'll freeze. You know, the great thing about it is you get to switch off all the time. On home game weekends, I'm doing a high school game Friday night and a college game Saturday, which I still think is fun as can be. And then in the summer, I'm teaching diving all the time. And we teach a lot in the winter as well in pools and such. But it's great to be able to go back and forth from one to the other.
I always loved when you did your challenge every year. I remember the time you did the every seat in Skelly Stadium challenge. You remember that?
That was the very first one we did for Operation Aware. Ended up raising $1.3 million for them over 28 events.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And did all kinds of weird stuff during the times. That one I ended up with the largest self-storage splinter collection in America. It's just where it was stored that I wasn't that wild about.
I can imagine.
It was a terrific start to what was a long, long event.
Well, Rick, people know you so well at KRMG in the morning there. But you do so much. We always think he was a sports guy, of course, but you do so much more than that. Tell us about your role at KRMG and how it's evolved over the years.
Oh, boy, it's changed a lot because radio has changed.
Yeah.
I'm the managing editor of the news product. I'm also the morning show co-host.
Right.
So Dan and Potter and I co-host the show. When he's gone, I do it. When I'm gone, it's Dan alone. It's really kind of evolved to the fact that, nowadays, when it comes to sports, a show like this is really unique. You should be very supportive and glad it's here because you can get sports on a phone. So people don't have to wait twice an hour to hear scores anymore. And that really kind of took a toll.
Or listen to a 15-second soundbite because they give the TV guys no time anymore.
No, and that took a real toll on it.
Sure,
so
no
you have to evolve the way you're doing things. And it made of all of us in radio evolve. So in my 50s, I had to relearn things, and that's okay. I don't mind. I'm an old dog, but new tricks aren't that big a deal. So I kind of moved into doing some of those kinds of things, and it's once again. It kind of gives you some diversity. I was in Joplin 2 hours after the tornado. I was in Moore just a few hours after the tornado covering the F5s. So, and I've been to 3 political conventions covering those. So you get to do some interesting things.
Well, you've done the Tulsa Union games for a long time, and they're going to go through a major renovation. How is that going to work next year?
Well, from what I'm told, we'll end up broadcasting from the end zone, which is fine.
The UMAC Center there?
Yeah, because I did Talons games for 8 years as well, and I was their play-by-play guy for the Talons, which, by the way, may have been the most fun 8 years of my entire career. My goodness, that was a great time. I miss those guys. But I had to do a few games from the end zone at the convention center in the old days when we had problems, so I kind of got used to that. So I think we can do that all right. And, they're obviously, Gil, you're the creator of what happened at Union right there. I mean, you're the guy behind all that. Benny Dixon came along and stole some stuff, but you're the guy. Sorry, Benny. So we're really excited to have that happen. It needed to happen. It was not ADA certified. It was a marvel in its day. It needs to be upgraded. But as you know, they're doing fine arts. They're doing band stuff. They're doing other sports. It's going to be great.
Tough start for the Redskins this season. I blame me mostly. I was 0 for 2 to start off with. I was filling in for Rick, and he's got the TU conflict and stuff. But, boy, they've been on a roll lately and heading to the playoffs with the Broken Arrow coming up this weekend.
Yeah, it'll be a lot of fun. You got a lot of brand new players. Rovon Banks just alone. That
sophomore quarterback.
Yeah, he changed everything for that football team. And nothing against J.D. Geneva because he's a very good player who went to Mansfield and was great.
He was,
But he got hurt early on, and he never was right for the longest time. And Rovon just changed the team. Plus, you've had... As University of Tulsa's done, you find a way to adjust and massage and get the best players on the field, and they've been able to do that lately and kind of come together. I think they found themselves a little bit. I'm hoping, lose to Broken Arrow by 2 touchdowns on week 1. I think they're hoping it'll be a little different.
It's going to be an exciting game, isn't it, with Broken Arrow?
I think it will be, and we say this all the time, and it's so much more true in high school, I think, than anywhere else. It's not the best team; it's the team that's playing best.
That's right.
And in high school, in the past, watch Alan Trimble's teams through the years. Be okay and good, and then get great at the end of the year. They dye their hair blonde, and they think they can't lose, and they don't, right? Because teams play as good as they think they are. And the same thing's happening right now at Union. I think they've had the most improvement over the last 5 or 6 weeks. Now, it's not to say that Broken Arrow and Owasso and Jinx and everybody else hasn't gotten better. They have. I just think Union's made the biggest strides, partially because of what they found at quarterback.
Well, and they're young, and young have a definite advantage of getting better every week.
You just hope the young guy doesn't one day look out and realize, oh, this is a big
state.
state.
Okay.
Well, I was across the street at Edmond North with the Union game last Friday night, and I'm following on my phone along this. And, well, this can't be right. Tulsa's kept this Central Florida game pretty close.
Right.
Now, wait a minute. Tulsa's in the lead. I can't think of a football team or a coaching staff of Coach Montgomery deserve that more. They have been so close so many times. What a fabulous win for the University of Tulsa last Friday.
Yeah, it was. And let me say this very slowly. Central Florida has still never beaten Tulsa in Tulsa.
Oh, how about that, huh?
Right? In men's basketball or in football.
That's fantastic.
Yes, they have been snake bitten so many times.
Gosh.
They've had unfortunate misses on field goals. And Jacob Rainey hits 5 in a row and becomes the freshman all-time leader. I feel so good for him. They've had just things go wrong. Now, Central Florida helped. They gave us help the other night. But in doing so, Tulsa took advantage of those things.
Oh, yeah.
And I was glad to see it for Phillip, because I know he works his tail off, and for those kids. Now, what you hope is you win the last 2, go strong into the offseason, get some recruiting in here, and get back to what you were in 2016.
Yeah, that's the key. If you can get those last 2, that makes that offseason and the recruiting part so much easier for the coaches to go out and sell a product.
Oh, yeah.
There are kids out there, I promise you, if you watch Zaven Collins at linebacker, you're watching an NFL player. He will play in the NFL, barring some kind of, knock on wood, strange injury.
Right.
But you're also watching an offensive line that when they come together, those 2 tackles are going to be guys who can play in the NFL.
Take us underwater a bit. Okie Scuba, what, 17 years? This company of yours. Talk about your love for scuba, where it's taken you.
The best thing about it, where it's taken me is into an entirely new family. My youngest, who's a senior at Texas A&M, says she has 3 families. She has a family, a football family, and a diving family. And she loves all of them. And what it's done is taken us to a lot of different places. We meet a lot of different people. I really enjoy doing it. It's the singularity of it. When you're underwater, you can't think of anything else. And my oldest daughter's had some health issues.
Right, yeah.
But when you're underwater, nothing can come to your mind except for what you're doing. You're in that moment the whole time, and I've just always liked it. Plus, guys that are our size, you want to be weightless.
Right. That's one in a row.
He's looking better in his wetsuit. How many pounds you lost?
82 pounds.
Oh,
now,
well done, Rick. Let's fatten him up.
Well, let's add to that 82.
Oh, hey.
And you come back to Bricktown anytime on us,
I
Rick.
appreciate it.
They have good salads too, by the way.
All right, thank you.
Buddy, thanks for joining us.
Good to
finally.
see you again.
Always good to see you.
Rick Couri, KRMG, Voice of the Union Redskins, Tulsa, and Underwater Okie as well. Good to have with us here. We're going to come right back and talk more Oklahoma football, high school football, with the head coach of the Edison Eagles, Tony Daniels. The Eagles are headed to the playoffs.
The service is amazing.
Food's delicious.
I love the avocado fries.
I love the energy.
Local beer, great food, truly friendly service.
Look all right for you?
Bricktown Brewery, come and get it.
Each week we talk about the GTR, and we know for a fact that Forrest Cameron and his wife Sharon put out a tremendous paper. Well, I brought all 6 of them today. I'd like for you to see them. The Union Boundary, and here is the Owasso Rambler. And if you live in Bixby, how about the Bixby Breeze or Broken Arrow, the Broken Arrow Express, Jinx, District Gazette, and then of course the Tulsa Midtown. All of those, the GTR. If you haven't had an opportunity to read one, do it, and you'll be proud of it.
Welcome back to Oklahoma Sports Scene, and now we have a special guest, the head football coach and director of athletics at Thomas Edison High School, Tony Daniels. Welcome, Tony, to the show.
Thank you all for having me.
You bet.
Great job,
Appreciate
Coach.
it.
Only took you 27 years You win a district championship. Congratulations.
Well, it didn't take Tony 27
Oh, yeah,
years.
that's right. Yeah, not you, but congratulations. They got to be just so excited over at Edison High School. And talk about this incredible season: 9-1, 7-0 district champions.
Well, I didn't know until after we won the following Monday.
Yeah.
It's kind of ironic. We have 27 seniors on the football team. So about one kid per year, 27 years.
There you go.
So that felt great. You know, those kids, a lot of those kids have been in the program since middle school.
Yeah.
So to be able to go through that and see, to be able to be undefeated and win, you know, a lot of times you got to win some of those close games. And you face adversity. And, you know, previously we struggled with that in the first couple of years of being there, but you build the foundation, you lay the foundation, you just build it from there and win with the culture, and the kids have all bought in with it.
Who was the genius that hired you to coach at Edison High School?
Gil was.
And Coach, he was at Memorial, then Verdigris before that too, right?
He went to Verdigris, and I got to tell this funny story about this because how we got Tony.
Yeah.
We were talking, and we were in a meeting, and literally we had peeled it down to about 2 people. And I was over at Edison with the principal and the athletic director and the assistant principal. And we just could not agree on what we were going to do.
Yeah.
And Tony texted me, said, "Is that Edison job still open?"
And you were where at that time? He was at
Verdigris.
Verdigris, okay.
And I said, "Well, it is." And I showed the principal, who was the brother of the principal that he worked for at Memorial. So he knew about Tony and knew what he had done at Memorial. And I said, "Can you come over tomorrow? We need to visit." He said yes. And we hired him that afternoon.
4th season with the Eagles there. And well, what a job he's done, huh?
Oh, he's done a great job. And I knew he would. The work ethic and what he asked his student athletes to do. And I tell you, I think he would concur with this. The one thing I think that has made a difference in that program is the off-season program with the powerlifting. I think that I saw 2 games this year where they played and completely dominated defensively. They were just stronger, more physical than the other team. Don't you think so, Tony?
Yeah. I totally believe in that. Powerlifting, you know, I started that whenever I got out there in Verdigris, and brought another coach that was on board, you know, and he had kind of dabbled in a little bit in the powerlifting, and I didn't know too much about it, but I kind of got my feet wet in it and brought that over here. And in that interview, I said, that's one thing I'd really like to do, try to bring the off-season program. And now with me in the position of athletic director, I got a couple of basketball kids who dived in middle school powerlifting. And it's just about developing the overall athlete. So it's really helped us out.
Well, you like the fact when you look around the hallways in school and see a lot of major head football coaches from major colleges around there. They're scouting around there, and it shows you got some good athletes. I guess the guy everybody's talking about, of course, is the incredible running back, Savion Morris. And give us an update on the young man who's, over 1,600 yards now in the season?
Correct, yeah. He's 1646, right around in there in the overall season. Has played 8 games for us. There's a couple of games that he maybe played like a couple of series and kind of taken them out. And, you know, it's really helped us out because we've developed another running back, Gerard Thompson, who's done a really good job for us. And he had about 14 carries last week versus Ada for 106 yards. So it's really kind of helped develop. And not only is Savion a great young man, but now he's kind of turned into as helping. He's kind of part of our staff now. He's able to help out, you know, some of the kids, and the kids love it. They get to learn from not only Jeremy Smith, who's our running back coach that graduated from Union and was at OSU, but has just done a phenomenal job in developing those young men.
And Savion broke, of course, our great friend Spencer Tillman's all-time record at Edison, right?
Yes, he did. Yeah, that was great. Second game of the season.
Yeah.
Did a great job. Spencer actually came out not too long after that, so got to do a little meet and greet. Foundation over at Edison was able to have a little Hall of Fame, so they put him into that, and
that was
did well.
That was fantastic. But I think the thing more fantastic is to lose the first game of the season.
Oh wow, yeah.
And then run off 9 in a row. That was an incredible run, and especially as you know in 5A football, you get injuries, you have things that happen during the year, but yet you stayed the course and were able to do that.
Well, I think when you look back at it, it's still like one of those. You always go back to one of those games that either define you as a football team, and I think when we look back at that, we were on the 1-yard line, fumbled just like we previously did at Claremore in the playoff games the previous year. So we just decided that wasn't going to happen again, and we just started rocking and rolling, and kids started playing and developing. And we fumbled on the 1 yard line at the Sepulpa game to go get ready to tie the game. Late in the third quarter. So
got a home game to start the 5A playoffs, hosting Pryor this Friday. Let's talk about that. That game, the challenge of Pryor.
Sure, and it seems like Pryor's kind of at 100% now. They've been playing really good football, and I think that since Tahlequah lost and Claremore won, Pryor ended up beating Skytook, so they got in there. And as everybody knows, the football season now is 0-0.
Yeah.
So everybody has a chance, and I try telling our kids, it doesn't matter we're on a 9-game win streak, doesn't matter that we're 7-0 in district, we're 0-0 right now, and we got a lot of fight left in us still.
Yeah. Well, the playoffs, I think everybody gets to the next level. I love playoff football, playoff basketball. Anytime you get that gold ball out there, I think it's really something. So with 27 seniors, leadership hasn't been a problem this year?
No, you try and talk to the kids, and you talk about developing them, because not only do we want to develop as a leader on and off the field, but we also want to develop lifelong, with lifelong skills, and get them to understand not only on the football field, but in the classroom, out of the classroom, taking it to college. If you're going to go to college and play, which we feel like we're going to have quite a few kids have an opportunity to go play college ball. Right. But there are going to be some that want to go get a trade at a place where at a skill, and be able to go there and be able to do something. So I think it's just kind of one of those. No matter what they do, whatever they do in life, they're going to have that skill and that mindset. Number one, we're going to compete at everything that we do, but also number two, you're going to be a valuable lesson of being a leader on the field.
Well, you want to get out there Friday and see some great high school football as, again, the district champion, 9-game win streak, Edison Eagles put their 9-1 record on the line against Pryor at 6-4, 7 o'clock kickoff here at Edison. And Saban Morrison is worth it, the admission just to watch him. By the way, we're all a little concerned when he had the hat presentation, from that big Nebraska hat from the north side. Now, have you talked to him about, it was a cold day of practice today, right? Does he have any idea what it's like in Lincoln, Nebraska?
I told him probably about 20 degrees colder, so.
We got something for you, Coach.
Well, I tell you, Tony, when you get a chance when the season's over, come back to Bricktown on us.
Thank you all very much.
And a shout out for your old school, Verdigris. How about them, making the playoffs?
Doing a great job, Coach East has them going over there.
Yeah, they're 8-2. They're going to be hosting Idabel for the 3A district playoffs there as well. So, Coach, again, congratulations. Great season for the Eagles. Let's see if we can try to keep Morrison closer to home, maybe, huh? Work on that for us. We'll be right back, and we'll have ORU's men's head soccer coach with us. They're just winning a championship. Ryan Bush coming up next.
January 13th to the 18th, the River Spirit Expo Center in Tulsa. The 34th Lucas Oil Chili Bowl Nationals. Monday and Tuesday reserve seats are on sale now by calling 918-838-3777 or get yours at the event. Can't make it for the entire week? Get your general admission pit pass at the event and find seating along the back straightaway. The best drivers in an all-out mudslinging war for the Golden Driller. Get more information, prices, and directions now at chilibowl.com.
1, 2, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, rock. 5, 6, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, rock. 9, 10, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, rock. We're gonna rock around the clock tonight.
Remington Park is now officially open around the clock. That's right, we are 24/7.
We're gonna rock around the clock tonight. We're gonna rock, rock, rock till broad daylight. Gonna rock around the clock tonight.
So when we say the party never ends, you better believe it. Remington Park, now open 24/7.
At Rogers State University, we keep things personal.
It all starts here.
We make sure our graduates get the most out of their education.
RSU has campuses in Claremore, Bartlesville, and Pryor, with on-campus housing and a wide variety of programs to suit your needs.
It all starts here.
Rogers State University.
Happy to have with us the head men's soccer coach at Oral Roberts University. The guy has done such a great job there. Ryan Bush started as a player at ORU back in early 2000s and had quite a career there as a women's coach, now the men's coach. And congratulations on part of your 4th Summer League Men's Championship, Ryan.
Thank you.
Talk more about your background and first coming here as a player.
Yeah, I started as a player at Oral Roberts University, so obviously it's my alma mater. Stayed, and I started coaching as an assistant right after I got done, and I've been there ever since.
5 years the women's coach before, right, too?
5 years as the women's coach, yeah.
And you turned that over to?
My brother is now the head women's coach, so it's a family affair.
I love it.
Tony Winters help you?
He'd probably like to.
I think he would like to, yeah, you bet.
Probably
you've had a great year, and especially on the preseason, what your colleagues thought, and you really, what do you think attributed to that?
Yeah, I think overall it's our culture. We've been grinding away at it for several years now, and I think we've got the right kids in the right environment. They're going in the right way, and you start winning games. But I think you've got to get the culture set first, and then I think we've got right kids inside of that culture.
It's great. What's your recruiting areas?
Obviously, we want to hit Oklahoma and the Dallas area. I mean, we want to get regional. We've got several kids from Colombia, Brazil, and France.
Wow, yeah.
So we've really got kids from all over the world. But I would say domestically, Oklahoma, Dallas, and then France, Brazil, Colombia.
21 newcomers on this squad, so the future must look bright, too, with returning starters.
Yeah, we'll graduate a couple starters, so we'll return 9 starters. We were predicting next year to really be a breakout year, but obviously we're living in the middle of one right now, so we're excited about that.
Well, a tough match. We had Western Illinois in here with a chance to clinch the #1 seed in the conference championship, and tough match went right down to really the final minutes.
Yeah, soccer sometimes can be a cruel sport, so we had the run of play for the entire game. Their first shot that went on goal went in, and sometimes soccer works like that. So, but credit my kids, they played hard. I thought that they did what they needed to do, win the game, just a little bit unlucky.
So you share the conference championship. Now on to the Summer League tournament. And of course, as we tape this show, it'll be up on Wednesday night. That's when you guys, of course, are getting ready to play at Denver coming up too.
Yeah, great opponent in Denver. Very good. They've obviously been to the national tournament, I think, the last couple of years. And they were #1 in the country for 3 or 4 weeks last year. So, I mean, a very established program. We're excited about the competition and excited about the match.
What does the weather in Denver look like?
Actually, on kickoff, I think it's going to be around 62.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, so we're actually lucky.
Better than here.
Yeah.
And that's coming up on Thursday, November 14th, right, Coach?
Yes.
And if you win, when you win that match, then what's next?
We would play Saturday in the conference championship game against whoever wins between Omaha and Western Illinois, and then the automatic qualifier for the national tournament comes from that.
And you beat Omaha earlier 3-0, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, the national tournament will be decided, I guess, how it matches up, who plays who, what the site would be.
Right, yeah. And I think with our ranking and with the amount of wins we've had in our record, I mean, we would hope to host a game, but you have to wait and see what happens.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then the finals in neutral site?
The finals, everything's in Denver. So the semis and the finals are in Denver.
Right. But you would host in the national.
The first round, I think we would have a chance.
Right.
I think we would have a chance.
And you've really done well in the national polls. Talk about your team in the polls this year.
Yeah, right now we're currently ranked #20 still in the United Soccer Coaches Association. And then in College Soccer News, we came in at #30 this week. So obviously, I mean, getting national publicity is great. I mean, the kids have worked hard. So it's obviously nice to get honored and recognized for that.
Talk about some of your top players. Coach done such a good job for you this season. I know you got a couple of guys who are tied for the lead in number of goals here in the Summer League.
Yeah, the offense has been great. Dante and Reed both have 11 goals, which is top of the Summit League. Reed's top of the Summit League in points, and then Tongi Guanera is top of the country in assists with 12. So we've actually got the 5th best offense in college soccer right now, and I think that those guys that play in that part of the field are really attributed to that, obviously.
Your goalkeeper has made quite a shift. I think 5 times Summer League Player of the Week. Talk about him a little bit.
Yeah, obviously if you're not getting scored on, it makes it easier to win games. He's been phenomenal. He's Miles Motokev. Great competitor, superb athlete. But I think for him, it's just his competition standard. He's the hardest working kid in training every day. So whenever you see that kid get those accolades, we're super excited for him.
So you're recruiting, you got all those players coming back. It's going to be a little bit less this year?
Yeah, it'll be a small class. A couple kids are already committed that we're super excited about. And obviously right now we're focused on the now, but very, very excited about the next couple of years. There's no question.
Let's give the women a shout out too. They're your brother's coach. They've been an awfully good season too. I saw some of their young ladies made the All Summit team.
Yeah, they wound up finishing 3rd in the league, and then got beat by South Dakota State 1-0 late in the game. And South Dakota State's headed to the national tournament. So
Ryan Bush, the OU men's soccer coach. And Ryan, you got to be awful excited about some of the new momentum at Oral Roberts University. The new golf center opening up, and new school classes opening up and stuff, and new areas there that really come on.
Yeah, I've been there for 20 years. It's super exciting. I think campus-wide, not just in athletics, but campus-wide, they've just put in a new dorm. They put in the golf facility, an engineering facility. Things are definitely moving in a forward direction. And they beautified the campus, so it makes it a lot easier to recruit, obviously. But anytime there's growth, that's a good situation.
And a new track and field.
That's new track and field, yeah. Stuff popping up everywhere.
Oh, man.
You have something with the coach here?
I sure do. We want you to be our guest again, Ryan, at Bricktown.
Awesome.
Come back anytime.
Thank you so
Bring
much.
the family and the 3 boys, and 1 more on the way, right?
Yeah, 1 more on the way.
Congratulations, Mrs. Bush.
Yeah.
Ryan, good job, Ryan. Good luck in the tournament, too.
Thank you.
We'll come back. We'll talk women's basketball with the head basketball coach of the University of Tulsa, Matilda Mossman. Straight ahead.
Winston, tie or bow tie? Good choice.
Sammy, they're here.
Good morning, welcome to Don.
Come on, you guys. What did you think they were here for?
Well,
It's the Honda Summer Spectacular Sales Event going on now at Don Carlton Honda.
At Bricktown Brewery, we're known for our famous original craft beers like Single String Stout and Bluesberry Ale. Did you know we also brew our own root beer at our Oklahoma City brewhouse? It's called Attaboy Root Beer, and you'll love it no matter what your age. Just ask for a Bricktown Kids menu with all the favorites for our guests 12 and under. Bricktown Brewery opens every day at 11 a.m.
Robertson Tire has been your local tire expert since 1962. Now at RobertsonTire.com, it's easier than ever to get a customized quote. And with our price match guarantee, you can be sure that you're getting the best price. For more information, visit RobertsonTire.com.
Welcome back to Oklahoma Sports Scene, and now we have the head women's basketball coach at the University of Tulsa, Matilda Mossman, entering her 9th year. Welcome to the show, Matilda.
Thank you. Good to be here, guys.
Wait, yeah, you guys have a little Kansas State background
K-State,
too, right?
yeah.
We both have a little purple in our background.
10 to 11 years apart, but you know.
And you said you were there when Jack Hartman was the great coach there.
Jack Hartman was the coach when I started there, and then about halfway through, Lon Kruger came in as the head coach.
Yeah. Wow, and that was the old Bramlage?
That was the old Ahern Fieldhouse.
Ahern, that's right.
Yeah, we opened up Bramlage Coliseum while I was there. So my team was the first team to play in Bramlage.
And you were there the Hartman era, right?
The Ahern, with Jack and
right,
Vince Gibson, Purple Pride,
Purple
we gonna
Pride,
win?
that's right.
You know, all that kind
Wow.
of stuff. You bet.
Well, let's talk about TU women's basketball, Matilda, in this 1920 season. Give us an idea of this young team, and you're pleased with the team so far.
Yeah, I mean, we've got a lot of people back from last year's team. We lost Crystal Polk, who was our leading scorer, but Kendrian Elliott, as a senior this year, has really taken her spot. In our second game of the year against Arkansas State, Kendrian had 38 points on 16 of 19 shooting from the floor, and so she's really been dominating as a post player. And then Alexis Galden, our point guard, returning senior, has been injured, here and there, but that kid just kind of comes in every day and plays in some pain, and we know we're going to be able to count on her.
You get through the November, you got a lot of home dates, but then you're not at home until December the 20th.
We're trying to build up a following. We're at home every time in November, build up a little following, and then they kind of get used to coming, and then we go on the road. But scheduling it by itself is hard, so you kind of take teams whenever you can get them, whenever it fits with your schedule. But it's also good. We've got a couple of young kids in our program. And it's good for them to be able to kind of get settled in a little bit in the season before we take out on the road.
You bet.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, as we talk, of course, we taped the shows on Monday here at the Bricktown Brewery Restaurant in Tulsa. And that means on Tuesday night, you were over at Oklahoma State University. And now then looking ahead, though, and if you TU fans, again, you want to go out and support the Hurricane during this month of November. Thursday, November 21st, a week from this past Thursday's Mayor's Cup with Oral Robertson. That's always a fun event.
Always fun event, always competitive, good. We usually have a good turnout from just people in Tulsa.
Sure,
just wanting to see that. part of the Mayor's Cup. We're helping with a coat drive for children, so hope people will participate in that as well.
And Misty Cousin always is a good team. Looks like a good team again at Old Roberts.
Absolutely. You know, they had won about 3 years in a row until we beat them at their place last year. And, you know, we have that traveling trophy, and so we missed it for a few years and finally got it back, and we'd like to keep it as long as we can.
As we get into the American Athletic Conference and the new TV contract, has that made a difference in your program?
Well, it won't take effect until June of 2020, but it will have an effect. It'll have an effect on the whole university. You know, it's just so much, not just exposure for athletics, but it's exposure for the university as a whole. Whenever our games are on, you know, there are high school kids sitting in their living rooms seeing Tulsa, and we're putting educational advertisements in there, you know. So I think that tends to make prospective students go online, find out more about Tulsa. So it's not just a boost for the athletic department, it's a boost for the university as a whole.
Every program, and of course, the heart of it all is recruiting. Evaluate some of the Oklahoma high school talent. How is girls basketball in Oklahoma?
It's really good. The problem is, you know, we only have 4 in-state Division I schools.
Yeah, wow.
And you know, Oklahoma has really good high school talent, and that starts with having really good high school coaching. You know, I was part of that for 9 years at Norman High School, and you know, the coaching around the state is just really, really good. And so we have some of the young ladies who go on and they go out of state. You know, they go Division I in other states. And you know, we can't get them all, but we want as many as we can to stay in. And I know this show airs on a Wednesday. That's our national signing date. We will sign 3 student athletes on letters of intent that day. Can't talk about them, but I will tell you they're all from Oklahoma.
Hey,
they're all from
that's
Oklahoma.
Excellent. So how has the recruiting been in state for you over the years?
I would say about half of our roster tends to be in state. Our freshman that we brought in this year, Destiny Johnson from Sand Springs, Oklahoma. We have Maddie Biddle from Bixby, Addie Richards from Bixby, Alexis Galden from Broken Arrow. I'm sure there's somebody on there I'm forgetting, but we tend to have half of our roster from Oklahoma.
I'd like to get your opinion, Matilda. All this talk about the NCAA threw this thing out, of course, that, okay, we're all for paying our athletes for their image and their likeness and stuff. Together, I've talked about this. The impact is just crazy thing about the sports, but concern about where does this leave the women in Title IX?
You know, it's a good question. You know, I think college basketball started out as it's all about the amateurism, and the more money that's pulled into the schools from the TV. It's all about the TV contracts.
That's right.
You know, the TV contracts are what enables us to pay coaches high salaries, and so I think the student athletes see the coaches being paid and also being able to leave at any time. And now this paying for likeness, I'm okay with that. You know, if you want to make money because you're a good, you know, a star player, or you're being featured by the media. That's what runs it. But we're losing sight of the amateurism. I mean, we're slowly getting away from the amateurism piece, and you know, where women's athletics falls into that. You know, we're not the high profile athlete. And so there's probably not going to be a lot of women in women's basketball that get paid for their image and likeness. There will be some at UConn, maybe Sabrina Enescu at Oregon. There will be some, but it'll be small amounts, and then it becomes could become a team chemistry problem. Well, he's getting paid or she's getting paid. I want to get paid.
Yeah.
You know, so there's just lots of changes and you know, I'm all for the betterment of the student athlete, but at some point we have to stay within the amateurism that was created at the very beginning.
And Matilda, I think the term you had, student athlete,
right?
They are getting paid. They're getting an education that will set them for the rest of their life.
Right.
And I hate to see it from that standpoint. And I also hate to see it because if it does run through the university, it will have Title IX implications. So now it's going to have to go from the outside, and now we have NCAA implications. So I think it was a rush to judgment by the NCAA not to be sued, and now we've got this. How are we going to handle it?
Right.
We have something to pay Matilda, though, right?
You bet. For you being here, you get a Bricktown Brewery for us.
Yeah, all right. right.
Coach,
All right.
thanks for being with us
All
here.
right.
Get
Thank
out and
you,
support
guys.
the Golden Hurricane ladies again. They have the Big Mayor's Cup game coming up November 21st, November 25th at noon. Great fun with all the kids coming there for Laurel and Marymount and on the road until December the 21st. Get out there and support TU. We're going to come back with some Thoroughbred Racing, a Remington report, and a Hall of Fame trainer next.
Cheers.
All right, y'all, how's everything tasting?
That is awesome.
I come bearing gifts of the liquid variety.
Bricktown Brewery. Come and get it.
Robertson Tire has been your local tire expert since 1962. Now at RobertsonTire.com, it's easier than ever to get a customized quote. And with our price match guarantee, you can be sure that you're getting the best price. For more information, visit RobertsonTire.com.
30 years ago, a race began along a quarter mile of dirt and dreams in Oklahoma City. Today, with the biggest prize money and the best horses, that glittering quarter mile is home to the best quarter horse racing on earth. Remington Park proudly presents our biggest quarter horse season ever, celebrating 30 years of hard racing fun. World's best, OKC's own, Remington Park.
Well, this past weekend, no lack of speed on the final turf race at Remington Park Thoroughbred season. We also have a chance to spotlight one of their outstanding trainers. Here's Dale Day.
Things are never quiet for the horsemen at Remington Park as they are constantly at work trying to develop that next big horse for their stable. Trainer Donnie Von Himmel has had plenty of big horses throughout the history of Remington Park. Richard Linehan visited recently with Von Himmel as he recounts his greatest triumphs.
Trainer Donnie Von Himmel talked about his most memorable moments at Remington Park since he started here in 1988, the track's first year.
There'd be a lot of them, I guess, over the years. Of course, Clever Trevor and his success here as a 2-year-old and a 3-year-old were, when Remington was first starting, I think was very exciting, and 3 Derby victories under our belt, Queen's Gray Bee and Going Ballistic to add to that, and those would be big days. And then I think have to look at the Oklahoma Classics. I think those are always big days. We started out pretty slow in it, and we had a number of seconds in the Classics for I don't know how many years before we finally broke through and started winning some of them. And it's been very very good day of racing in Oklahoma, and something that I think we all can be proud of.
Von Himmel always felt like he could be a winner in Oklahoma City.
Always felt confident in our ability to win races and have the clientele that wanted to do that, and a crew at the barn that was doing a good job. But yeah, would I think I was going to be the leading trainer, or whatever his number of wins or something? Probably not. But always figured I could be successful wherever I went. Because you have the right people working for you, the right people supplying horses.
Von Himmel is coming up on 2,200 wins overall lifetime, and his horses have earned more than $60 million. Don't count on that changing anytime soon.
Richard Linehan with Donnie Von Himmel, Remington Park's all-time leading trainer. Shotgun Cowboy, the 2015 Oklahoma Derby winner and 4-time Oklahoma Classics Cup champion, has entered an allowance race at Remington Park on November 14th. Shotgun Cowboy is making a bid to become the first horse ever to earn $1 million solely in Remington Park racing. The Welder Show is back on Friday, November 15th, as he goes for his 9th consecutive Remington Park victory in the $70,000 Silver Goblin Stakes. At Remington Park in Oklahoma City, I'm Dale Day. Now back to Sportscene.
Live racing Wednesday through Saturday. It's always free admission, free parking. And remember, post time, 7 p.m. Remington Park. Get out and enjoy thoroughbred racing. We'll come back with parting shots. You won't want to miss mine. This may be my last time on television.
1, 2, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, rock. 5, 6, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, rock. 9, 10, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, rock. We're gonna rock around the clock tonight.
Remington Park is now officially open around the clock. That's right, we are 24/7.
We're gonna rock around the clock tonight. We're gonna rock till broad daylight. Gonna rock around the clock tonight.
So when we say the party never ends, you better believe it. Remington Park, now open 24/7.
Hey, Mo, have you seen the MDX? I'm pretty sure it was in the showroom when I left yesterday.
No, sorry, Jen. I haven't seen it.
Are you positive you haven't seen it?
Hey, Mo, I went ahead and pulled the MDX back up on the showroom for it. Oh, hey, Jen.
Haven't seen it, huh?
It's back, January 13th to the 18th, all under the giant roof of the River Spirit Expo Center. The 34th running of the Lucas Oil Chilliwack Nationals, presented by General Tire. Monday and Tuesday reserved seats are on sale now by calling 918-838-3777 or get yours at the event. The world's best drivers in an all-out mudslinging war for the Golden Driller. Can't make it for the whole week? Get your General Edition pit pass at the event and find seating all along the back straightway. For more information, prices, and details, log on to chilibowl.com.
Welcome back to Oklahoma Sports Scene, and boy, do we have a special day. We've got Chris Lincoln's birthday's today, 11/11/47.
That's right.
Which means he's 70-something.
72 now,
yeah.
God,
and J.B. Haney's birthday was on Saturday, and he was 87. And we wish J.B., our former colleague, a very happy birthday, as well as you, Chris.
Well, thank you, Gil, and I appreciate that. By the way, we have Ted and Michelle Owens came to be part of the party here.
Excellent, yeah.
Doris, Becky's mom, is here as well. Vicky,
my wife,
she bought
here,
fudge.
Yeah. Fudge.
Homemade
for
fudge
the
for
birthday
me too,
boy.
right?
Yeah,
so thank you all. Enjoy that very much. And let's get into business now. Wait just a second. Gonna make a wish.
I'll make a wish. Boy, you're not full of wind. I know what you're full of. So,
party shots. Here's going to lead us on. Go ahead, Coach.
You know, this is a great time of the year if you can see me through the smoke. And really, playoff football time in Oklahoma is great. I think there'll be some surprises that'll come out on Wednesday of this week about how the tournament's going to be handled this year. But go out this Friday. I guarantee you'll be entertained with the teams that have made the playoffs. It's exciting for those student athletes. It's a goal that they've worked for since August when it was 104, and now it's 13 degrees outside, and yet they're still out there playing football for that gold ball. Support your local high school, or just be a fan and support Oklahoma high school football.
Well, I mentioned this may be my last television appearance. I may be ending my almost 50-year broadcasting career. Coach, I want you to know I have applied for the head football coaching jobs at Florida State University and the University of Arkansas. Here's my thoughts. Why not? I couldn't do a worse job, and these guys get fired, and they get paid millions of dollars. FSU head coach Willie Taggart, he got fired after 2 seasons. They're paying him $18 million to leave, plus Florida State had to pay $2 million to the Oregon Ducks, $3 million to buy his contract out to get him to come over to their school. Then they also had to make a $1.3 million buyout to South Florida that they had to get him out of that school too. $20 million total by Florida State. University of Arkansas just fired their head coach, of course, Chad Morris. He coached the Razorbacks for 2 seasons, 4-18, never won an SEC conference game, and now for that effort, he's going to buy up $10 million. Now, come on, are you serious? Athletic directors, presidents, board of regents, you should be fired if we give these contracts to give these people these kind of buyouts. Meantime, I want you to know I can do just as good a job. I'm ready to be your head football coach. And I may not win any games, but I'll take a much smaller buyout.
And the athletic director that hires him will be fired immediately.
Hey, thanks for joining us, Oklahoma Sports Scene. Thanks to birthday wishes, Coach.
You bet. We're glad you're here and you're still alive.
That's right, exactly. Becky, thanks to the apple pie. See you next time on Oklahoma Sports Scene. So long, everyone.